You know what they say about big gems, right?
Hello everyone, this is the Ghost Gamer, and today we are here for another top guide. This time we'll be focusing on the fabulous gem man in the top lane, Taric. Taric is a good pickup if you want a very good duelist, the best champion for 2v2s, one of the best sustains in the game, to play off meta, a very strong early game top laner, an ultimate that can swing fights and carry games, a very versatile pick that can be a tank, duelist, or healer, and to drive your enemy mad with your fabulousness. Taric, even with all his fabulousness, does have some weaknesses. He's pretty weak damage-wise before he gets his Sheen and Iceborne proc. He's very mana-reliant, so also before you get those mana items, you can be pretty weak. Your ult and your stun have pretty long delays, so they can be sometimes hard to time. And also, people will randomly give you shit for picking Taric top. The best time to pick Taric is when your team needs a tanky frontliner against an AD-centric team. Taric fulfills the role of a paladin, being capable of both tanking and dealing damage, as well as CCing the enemies and healing his allies. Taric's passive is called Bravado. Spellcast empower Taric's next two basic attacks to deal bonus magic damage, reduce his spell cooldowns, and attack in quick succession. Newer Taric players often overlook this skill, but it's the glue that binds his entire kit together. In order to keep it up at all times, his standard combo is stun, auto attack, W, auto attack, Q, auto attack, Q, auto attack, and then your other spells should be back up. This combo is one of the things that makes him such a deadly duelist, as he's able to double his attack speed as well as get bonus damage on hit for his armor and AP, as well as keep his abilities off cooldown. Taric's Q is called Starlight's Touch. It heals nearby allied champions based on charges stored, and Bravado-empowered attacks grant a charge of Starlight's Touch. This means that as long as Taric can auto-attack an enemy champion, he can keep casting Starlight's Touch, which is another thing that, as long as he has mana, allows him to stay alive very long during fights. Taric's W is Bastion. It passively increases the armor of Taric and any allied champion with Bastion, actively shields an allied champion, and grants them Bastion for as long as they remain near Taric. Taric's spells also cast off the ally with Bastion. This is a very useful skill and allows Taric to switch from a top lane monster duelist to a team fighting champion. Taric's E is called Dazzle. Taric readies a beam of starlight that, after a brief delay, deals magic damage and stuns enemies. This is very useful in lane, as it deals a decent amount of magic damage and allows Taric to free hit his opponents while they are stunned. It is even more useful in team fights once Taric has a bastioned ally, as it is two mini AoE stuns that are essentially small Sona ultimates. Taric's ultimate is called Cosmic Radiance. He pulses cosmic energy onto nearby allied champions after a delay, making them invulnerable for a short duration. This is a truly awe-inspiring ability, and is often what separates good Tarics from truly great ones. The trouble with his ability is the 2.5 second delay between when you cast it and when it comes down, but the good thing about it is potentially all 5 of your teammates have 2.5 seconds of invincibility to defeat the enemy team. In lane, it is a useful gank deterrent as well as a turret diving tool, and often allows you to 1v2 successfully. Outside of lane, it is a very powerful ability that often is enough to swing the entire team fight in your favor, if well timed. For Taric top, the standard ability order is E level 1, Q level 2, Q level 3, W level 4, then max R, then E, then W, then Q. This is due to the fact that his Q massively increases in mana cost every level up, and most of the time you will only be getting 2 charges off. Taric top has quite a wide variety, of viable keystones to choose from, whether Aftershock, Grasp, Press the Attack, Glacial Augment, or Kleptomancy. These keystones are all viable in different situations for Taric. Taric into a tank matchup, which is often one of his easiest matchups, usually runs Grasp or Kleptomancy. Into fighters or other sorts of bruisers, Press the Attack is usually ideal, though Grasp can also be run. Into ranged matchups or champions with a lot of dashes, Aftershock or Glacial Augment are standard. As for sub-keystones, there's only a couple that are absolutely necessary. One of those is Presence of Mind, due to the fact that the mana restore on kill or assist is absolutely invaluable to Taric mid-fight, as well as the fact that his long ultimate cooldown benefits greatly from the 10% off on takedowns. Another very viable rune is Revitalize, which increases your healing and shielding both to yourself and allies, especially if someone is under 40% health. This is a very useful keystone for Taric, as he's almost always healing and shielding targets, especially low health ones. Other runes that Taric should pick up are Shield Bash, which is very useful as Taric often has a shield, and while the damage that Shield Bash gives with Taric is not very significant, the extra armor and MR when you have a shield is very useful for him, as well as giving stats to his teammates. Bone Plating is another very useful rune for Taric to have, as he often prioritizes armor and MR as opposed to health, and so the extra little bit of survivability can go a long way. Since Taric can survive for such a long time at low health thanks to his Q, W, and ulti, Last Stand from the Precision Tree is also very useful on Taric, with increasing his damage. Additionally, Ultrosity is very useful for Taric, since the bonus attack speed through his passive gets doubled. If you do happen to run Glacial Augment or Kleptomancy, I would usually go Precision Secondary, and in the main line for Kleptomancy or Glacial Augment, I would run Magical Footwear, since speed is always useful, Biscuit Delivery, since that extra mana is very viable on Taric, and Cosmic Insight, since the extra cooldown reduction is helpful in keeping all your abilities up and maintaining bravado stacks. Due to Taric's versatility, he has quite a number of viable build paths in the top lane. You can either build him as a support, getting items such as Knight's Vow and Locket, build him as a tank, getting, Randuin's and Sunfire and other such items, or you can go for some sort of on-hit build with Titanic Hydra and Wit's End. You almost always start Crafting Potion on Taric and then transitioned into Catalyst. Tear used to be a viable start, but with Tear nerfs as well as Archangel Staff and Manamu being not especially good items on Taric, Catalyst is usually the better choice. Out of Catalyst, you usually go into your Sheen item next, which is most likely going to be Iceborne Gauntlets, and then from there usually the build paths diverge, often splitting into the on-hit, which if you're going that, you'd often go Titanic Hydra next, and then you could either build Wit's End for some MR, or switch into some regular tank items, like Randuin's Omen and whatnot, or you could build another tank item after you completed Iceborns. If your carries really head, or if you just have a super late game carry, like Yasuo, Twitch, Ashe, or your ADC is doing pretty good, then oftentimes I would recommend going a more supporty route, and after you get your Iceborns, which, helps enable you to duel people really well, then you can, buy Knight's Vow, buy Locket of the Iron Solari, items that will really help your team and your team fight in general, and then just focus up on grouping and getting objectives. I suppose this is a little bit out of place. I'm still working on the structure, but lane matchups in general, you want to fight melee people who want to be in your face. So, like Darius, Jax, Fiora, Riven, other people like that. You want to avoid going against people who can poke really well, or people who have a range advantage on you. Yeah, you also do very well in extended fights, though you can also poke your laner by Eing, autoing them twice, and then walking away. And if your opponent doesn't have any counter to that, then that can get off some pretty good poke damage. Overall, Taric is a very fun top lane champion to play, if a little bit weak pre-6. But once he gets going, he can barely be stopped, especially once you reach the team fight phase. If you want a champion who can switch out of a powerful dueling phase into being a team fight monster, Taric is the champion for you. Anyway, this is Ghost Gamer signing off. Have a nice day, and smash that like button.